Afternoon, folks. So Backhoe's been down for, I don't know, about a week and a half. I got it unstuck the day after I got it stuck, and then had some issues I have to deal with it, and it needed a full service anyway. So one of the problems I had was that the hydraulic fluid, I believe while it was stuck, got water in it, so it was contaminated. So I figured, well, needed a service anyway, so might as well get it done. Tell you what, it's not cheap on these things. Hydraulic fluid alone was $500. Filters were about $280, and because it's contaminated, the hydraulic fluid is contaminated, I had to buy I didn't have to, but I thought it was prudent to buy a machine that I can extract the fluid from, which isn't that big a deal because I can use it with my car work anyway. So I'm over here. I just came over today because we got shitty weather, and I'm waiting on the fluid extractor machine. So I figured I'd come over. I had to check the mail, but since the last time I videoed, we've got spring has taken over, and we got leaves on the trees and such. So I wanted to take a look, number one, at how it looks with this, but it'll also tell me which trees are dead. Like, for instance, this little tree right there, dead. The good news is some of the trees I thought were dead are not. They just look bad when they got no leaves on them. So we'll see how this goes, because all I got on is sneakers. But well, let me give you a little panoramic of what we got. Now, I covered this already, but so that I don't have to piece together a video. This is where the driveway is going to curve around. I got one more tree to take out and some stumps, and I started cutting the path for where the driveway is going to go, and it's going to come here, curve around, and cut between these two oak trees. There's one on the other side, the lighter colored one. That one closest to us is I'm cutting that down. That's not an oak tree, that's just an ugly tree. And then there's another oak tree there, and there's a tree across from it that's going to come down. So they'll basically be going between these two oak trees to go across to where the house is going to be. And that's that. Now, I don't know if from here I'm going to be able to get over there without trudging through shit. So I may have to circle back around, well, I'm getting kind of an idea anyway, so I don't know that I need to go over there. But you can see it's nice and green, and I can look across over in the front half back to there and see which trees are blooming and which are dead. So I guess we'll do that. Make my life easier. I don't feel like working today, so, and by that I mean I don't feel like working just to walk around. If my backhoe was up, I'd be working at least most of the day until the thunderstorms start around 4 o'clock. So yeah, this I came over here with a chainsaw and part of this. Part of it I had to backhoe over here to get these trees out. Like for instance, this one right here, you can tell I took out with the backhoe. Sliced most of, I believe I got most of them sliced up with the chainsaw. I got a couple more I'm going to have to hit, but it won't take me very long at all. And then I'll pile them up over here. I'm going to clear a spot back over in there somewhere to pile them up. Because I can always take them over, like the ones I'm going to cut on the mill, I can take over some other time. I don't need to rush over with them until I got the ones I got over there cut up. So then you might ask, well, Bob, you could be over there cutting lumber. And my answer would be, except that the backhoe's how I'd put them on there, and I haven't got any other way to lift up that heavy an item at this point in time. So, no, I can't. Over here's looking nice. Still needs to be thinned out. I haven't done any work over there thinning it out, but I will. I left this temporary drainage ditch that way, if any rain accumulates over in this low area again, it'll just run off. So yeah, these backhoes take a shitload of fluids. 24 gallons for the hydraulic system of hydraulic fluid. Another transmission uses the same kind of hydraulic fluid. That takes, I think 3.6 gallons. Come on. And then it takes what was it? I forget how many gallons of I think it's 8.3 gallons of oil, engine oil. So the engine oil is completely changed. Transmission oil is drained out, but when I bought my filters, the John Deere guy didn't give me a transmission filter, which these have for the hydraulic fluid, and when I went on their site, they don't have it, so he just didn't tell me he didn't have it. So then I went over today and bought one. Found an auto parts store that's got weird stuff, so I bought one, and so I'm ready to go with that once the machine comes. And I didn't have a wrench, filter wrench big enough for the main hydraulic filter, which is huge. So they had one of those too, which I couldn't find anywhere else. So that was cool. And so I think my guesstimate is the machine should be here Thursday or Friday, but it doesn't really make much difference because we're supposed to get shit rain weather, thunderstorm weather for the next couple of days. So I'm down until probably Friday or Saturday anyway, and maybe further than that, because depending on how much rain we get, I'm going to have to wait for things to dry out. I'm not crawling under that machine in the mud because it's sitting on just clay right now. Not a good idea when you're trying to keep things clean when you put on the new parts and then it's got nothing but dirt everywhere and mud. So part of it's practical, part of it is that I'm just too old to roll around in the mud. When I was younger, I wouldn't have given a fuck probably. So let's go take a look at the other side. We can go from here and walk down the creek a little bit, see what we got over here. She's getting adept at jumping, which has its pluses and minuses. Get out of there! Come on! Every mud hole. Amazing. Well, if I ever do get to where I want to give her a bath, I don't think she's going to have a problem with the water, other than it's clean. So yeah, there's some, well, it's kind of blocking the view a little bit now, but most of the trees up there all have leaves, and let me see if I can find, oh, it's over here. There's one tree that I thought was dead, that I was really kind of bummed out that it was dead, because it's the only one I've seen on the whole property, and I'm not even sure what kind of tree it is. So I'm going to try to get the, unfortunately there's no leaves, because it was all covered with trees. Most of the leaves, branches with leaves, are all the way up the tree. But this big one here has bloomed. So it's some kind of oak, I'm almost positive. I just don't know what kind of oak it is. I'll have to look up online. Yeah, it's an oak. I can see the leaves. I've got 3 kinds of oak on this property that I know of, and that might be a 4th. I've got white oak, which that one might actually be a straight white oak. I've got black oak and red oak, which are very similar. In fact, when you buy red oak, quote unquote, at Home Depot, for instance, you're getting either red oak or black oak, because they look very similar. Okay, so here we can see, because I cut trees down on the other side, you can see where the house is going to be. So if we look over there, coming around here, so the driveway is going to come across there. Where it ends, I don't know yet. There's a rise up there. That's that hilly part that I'd showed you on a previous deal. And then over to the left of that, from where we're standing, is where that flattened out area is. There's also a flattened out area up here that might be good for something. Over there is going to be pretty easy to grade out. I'm even thinking about, for the house, depending on where I put it, I may even just, because I have to dig into a hill anyway, if it's over here, that I may go ahead and put a basement in the damn thing. I miss basements. They don't build them down here that much. So obviously I've got a lot of trees to drag out of here, cut up, prune the branches and throw them on the pile. Some of them will get thrown on the pile if they're no good, because some of them were laying here when I got here and they're dead and they're all rotted out. Other ones are just too small and they're not of any use to me, so they'll just go flat out on the pile. The funny thing is, I've knocked some over, but they haven't they didn't break the root. So like this one right here is laying down on the ground, but it's sprouted. So same thing with some of these other ones. In fact, there's one I cut off and it's still sprouted. So interesting. Must have been enough water saved up in it that it could support it. So I got some beautiful oak trees on this back part where the house is going to be. All the pine trees over there are going to come down to be used for lumber to make the house. So that'll be cool, because those have come right from where the house is going to go. These couple of big pine trees are going to come down. Essentially, if you see a pine tree where I've been working, they're going. Over there, there's going to be some pine trees on that side, because I'm not taking that down. I'm going to keep those for privacy. Unless I hit a situation where I'm running out of pine for building with, because I got a lot of things I got to cut up, from siding to structural lumber, beams maybe, depending on what it is. Although the beams I could use oak, and I got quite a bit of oak. I just don't want to cut down any more oak than I have to. The main plan for the oak is to use it for perhaps building my kitchen cabinets, and mainly for the finished floor in my in my house and in my sister's house. So I should have plenty of that for that, just with what I need to move out anyway, and maybe a couple extras. So, but we'll see what kind of volume I'm getting out of these things. I got a pine tree I drug up here. This was from down by where the big culvert is. I drug it all the way over here in one piece from where it got cut off, and I got to come over and with the chainsaw and cut it up and throw the branches on the burn pile. Every time it gets dry enough to burn, we get another couple, 3, 4 days of days where it's raining, and then I got to wait for the pile to dry out before I can try starting it up again. So it's not working out too good with that, but oh well. We'll get it done sooner or later. So basically, as I look at this, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. Once I get the backhoe back up, I'm going to put in, this is going to be the drive that comes up to where the shop is going to be, and over to where the sawmill is going to be, and very possibly it's going to be where I put the travel trailer up on this front part while I'm working on the rest of the property. So that's one of the reasons why I want to get that done and in. Doesn't require a ton of grading, but I'm going to do some grading on it and stop. I got a low area over here that I may end up putting a pond in. As you drive up, you'd see a pond, which I thought would be good. The only downside of it being over here is that it won't be spring fed, but oh well. But I can still take, you put in, when you build a pond, you put in a relief pipe in case it wants to overflow so it doesn't just flood. And that I can run down from the pond to the creek and not have to worry about where the water is going to end up. So that's cool. So let me go over here and show you. Will you stop? She's attacking my shoelaces again. Let me go over here and show you where the driveway is going to be that goes down across to where the culvert is and to get across to where the house is going to be. So this tree here, right in front of us, is going to come out. The tree next to it's going to come out. Behind there, you can see two pines right next to each other, right next to the backhoe. Those are going to come out, and the drive's going to go right through here. So even though I've been cutting out over here, some of that's going to get filled back in. Some of it will probably be part of the driveway because I want it to be nice and wide, so anything I want to get back in there can get back in there. And it's already dug out anyway, but some of this bank will get filled back in over here. So basically, when you now, as you can tell, I've got this close to finished graded. I've still got some work to do on this culvert for the main drive, but it's almost there, and it's nice and packed well. So you'll come in here, and you can either go off this way to go up to where the shop and the sawmill are, or you can cut down this way and go over to the house ultimately, but to get across the creek. And over here is that low spot area where I was talking about where that, hey, get over here! Come on. Alright, that's out of the way. So, now I forget what the hell I was saying. Oh, so that low area over here that I was pointing to before the dog took off, wouldn't be a big pond. It'd be a small pond, but there's some other places where some small ponds would be good. One of them's down by the creek, And I'm thinking, if I did like a series of, maybe 3 or 4 small ponds, just taking advantage of the natural contour of the way the property is, number one, I don't have to dig out as much, but number two, be a nice drive on the way in. This pond here, you'd be able to see from the road as you drive up. This would be the other driveway is going to stay, I've decided, so that's going to go around the back side of the shop. And and then there's another spot that would be like across from where the house is, and I think you'd be able to see it from, well, I can make it so you can see it, but I think you'd be able to see it from where the culvert crossing is across the creek. So I don't want it to go right up to the culvert. That way I don't have to worry about it washing out my driveway, but basically I want to put the driveway in once and never have to deal with it again, except for every once in a while smooth it out a little bit or something. So might be wishful thinking, but so anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I got to head down somewhere and make another errand, so I have nothing I can do over here today that's worth getting all dirty and everything. You know, it's not enough I can do. I could break out the chainsaw, but then there's not enough to cut up right now, or I could cut out those 2 trees, but the backhoe's right there, so I can't, and I can't move it right now because there's no transmission oil in it. And I don't want to move that thing until all the fluids are changed. And there's a couple more pine trees there that are going to come out, but they're right by the backhoe, so that's not going to happen. And then these I could take out, but that's going to take me like 5 minutes. And then another 15 minutes to cut them up. And there's just not enough to do right now without the backhoe available. So that's it. Till next time, folks.